Go, go, move to the villa.
Get these kids out of here now!
Nonsensical and arbitrary whiplash. An FBI Agents Association spokesperson telling Axios that the firings, quote,
at 11:47 p.m. On a Tuesday night, the director of the FBI stood before a closed-door emergency briefing in Washington, D.C., and said 6 words that would shatter the illusion of safety in America's wealthiest coastal enclaves. We have found the children. 450 children. Stolen. Trafficked. Held captive on a private island off the California coast that most people didn't even know existed. An island owned by a power couple with Somali elite ties, flawless immigration papers, philanthropic awards lining their mansion walls, and a network so deeply embedded into California's luxury real estate, maritime shipping, and political donor circles that for nearly 8 years, no one asked questions. Not about the yachts that came and went at odd hours, not about the cargo containers offloaded in the dead of night at private marinas, not about the children who were never seen again. This is the story of how the FBI and DEA dismantled the most sophisticated human trafficking empire ever discovered on U.S. soil. And I promise you, what comes next is worse than you think. It begins at 4:14 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The California coastline is wrapped in thick fog, the kind that swallows sound, the kind that turns the ocean into a wall of gray silence. 73 federal agents, FBI hostage rescue team, DEA tactical units, ICE enforcement divisions, and U.S. Coast Guard SWAT are moving in coordinated silence across black water in reinforced assault boats. No running lights, no radio chatter, just the hum of electric motors and the distant crash of waves against rock. Their target, Seraphine Isle, a 200-acre private island 12 miles off the northern California coast, accessible only by helicopter or private yacht, owned by a couple the media once called California's humanitarian power duo, Rashid and Amina Khalid. On paper, they were venture capitalists, donors to children's hospitals, hosts of fundraising galas attended by mayors, senators, and Hollywood producers. In reality, they were architects of an international child trafficking network that stretched from the Horn of Africa to the docks of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego. And tonight, the island falls. At exactly 4:32 a.m., breaching charges blow the reinforced steel doors of the main estate compound. Flashbangs detonate in succession. White light, deafening thunder, FBI agents in black tactical gear pour through every entrance like a flood of justice that has been building for years. Inside, they find luxury beyond imagination. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, art worth millions, and beneath it, something else entirely. A hidden staircase behind a moving wine rack leads down into a subterranean level that shouldn't exist according to any building permit on file. What they discover there will haunt every agent who sees it for the rest of their lives. 42 children locked in climate-controlled holding rooms, ages ranging from 4 to 16. Some sedated, some too terrified to speak. All of them trafficked from East Africa, Southeast Asia, Central America, and even from within the United States, runaways, foster system disappearances, children who the world had stopped looking for. But that's only the beginning. In another wing of the underground complex, agents find a medical facility. Clean, sterile, equipped with surgical tools, gnaw testing equipment, and records written in coded shorthand that will take weeks to fully decrypt. In the island's eastern boathouse, concealed beneath tarp-covered luxury speedboats, they find steel cargo crates retrofitted with ventilation systems, restraints, and evidence of recent use. The DEA team hits a separate structure near the island's private helipad and uncovers 1,847 kilograms of uncut cocaine, 640 pounds of methamphetamine, and 2.1 million fentanyl pills packaged for distribution across the West Coast. Because this wasn't just about trafficking children, This was a full-spectrum criminal empire. And Rashid Khalid isn't even on the island. He's in San Francisco, dining at a five-star restaurant with a fictional California state senator named Gordon Trellis, who has no idea that in 90 seconds his entire political career is about to end. FBI agents walk through the front door of the restaurant at 4:51 a.m. right in the middle of dessert service. They cuff Rashid Khalid in front of the senator, 3 tech CEOs, and a room full of California's elite. Senator Trellis tries to distance himself, but 2 more agents step forward. "Senator, you're going to need to come with us too, because the digital forensics team has already cracked the encrypted server found in Khalid's island estate, and Trellis's name is all over it." 6 hours earlier, inside the FBI's Cyber Crimes Division in Los Angeles, a team of analysts had been working in near darkness, eyes locked on glowing monitors displaying lines of encrypted traffic pulled from surveillance warrants that had taken 2 years to obtain. They'd been tracking financial anomalies, wire transfers moving through shell companies in Dubai, Mogadishu, Nairobi, Hong Kong, and the Cayman Islands. Millions of dollars flowing in and out of California every month, disguised as real estate investments, art acquisitions, charitable foundation donations, and consulting fees. But at 10:33 p.m., one analyst cracked the master encryption key embedded in a secure email server hosted on Seraphine Isle, and the entire network exploded into view. They called it Operation Midnight Garden. Not a drug cartel, not a street gang, a full-scale international trafficking syndicate run like a Fortune 500 company, with branch managers, logistics coordinators, transport schedules, client databases, and a victim acquisition pipeline that spanned 4 continents. Rashid and Amina Khalid weren't just the owners, they were the CEOs. The network used luxury yacht charters as cover for moving victims up and down the California coast. It used private marina access points in Santa Barbara, Monterey, and Half Moon Bay to offload human cargo in the dead of night. It used high-end event planning companies and modeling agencies as recruiting fronts. And it used political donations, charity galas, and carefully curated public personas to stay untouchable. Senator Gordon Trellis had received over $340,000 in campaign contributions from Khalid-linked entities over 3 election cycles. A fictional mayor of a wealthy coastal city, Margaret Haynes, had attended 4 private dinners on Seraphine Isle and had personally intervened twice to delay zoning investigations into Khalid properties. A deputy director of California's Child Protective Services, a man named Victor Eng, had been on the Khalid payroll for 6 years, falsifying records, erasing missing persons reports, and rerouting vulnerable children into systems where they could vanish without a trace. This wasn't corruption. This was command-level collusion. This wasn't negligence. This was engineered treason. And the analysts knew, if they didn't move fast, the entire network would scatter like smoke. At 11:52 p.m., the FBI director authorized a total operational sweep. Every asset, every location, every name on the list. No warnings, no leaks, no second chances. The hunt had just begun. By 5 a.m., the sun is starting to burn through the fog, and the command center inside a fortified FBI mobile operations truck parked near the Port of Oakland is alive with controlled chaos. On the main screen, a digital map of California pulses with over 60 red markers. Each one represents a location tied to Operation Midnight Garden. Luxury estates in Beverly Hills and Malibu, warehouses in the industrial zones of Stockton and Fresno, private marinas in San Diego and Newport Beach, shell company offices in downtown Los Angeles and San Francisco, and a chain of high-end massage parlors, exclusive nightclubs, and members-only lounges that served as both money laundering hubs and victim exploitation sites. The mission is massive. Over 1,200 federal agents deployed across California in the largest coordinated anti-trafficking operation in U.S. history. FBI, DEA, ICE, Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Marshals, California Highway Patrol, and U.S. Coast Guard cutters positioned offshore to intercept any fleeing vessels. At 5:14 a.m., Black Hawk helicopters lift off from staging points in 6 different counties. SWAT teams hit a mansion in the Hollywood Hills and find Amina Khalid trying to burn financial documents in a fireplace. She's taken into custody without resistance, but her eyes are cold, calculating. She says nothing, not a single word. In San Diego, a raid on a luxury yacht docked at a private slip uncovers 3 teenage girls locked in a concealed compartment below deck, along with falsified Honduran passports and restraints still stained with blood. In Fresno, agents breach a nondescript warehouse and discover a processing facility, medical tables, photography equipment, clothing sorted by size, and a refrigerated truck idling in the loading bay, ready to move its human cargo north to Seattle. In Santa Barbara, DEA agents storm a beachfront villa and seize 910 kilograms of cocaine, $4, $7 million in cash vacuum sealed in duffel bags, and 12 cartel members with direct ties to the Jalisco New Generation cartel who had partnered with the Khalid network to use their trafficking routes for narcotics distribution. Because that's the sickening brilliance of it. The same boats, the same trucks, the same corrupt port officials who looked the other way for trafficked children also looked the other way for tons of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and fentanyl pills flooding into American cities. By 11 a.m., the operation has netted over 180 arrests. Traffickers, money launderers, cartel enforcers, corrupt officials. The underworld took more damage in 6 hours than it had in the last 6 years. But the deeper the agents dig, the darker it gets. Inside a seized server farm hidden in a Palo Alto office park registered to a fake tech startup, FBI cyber analysts begin reconstructing the network's internal communications. What they find is a level of infiltration that makes seasoned investigators feel sick. Victor Ng, the deputy director at Child Protective Services, had flagged over 300 children as high-risk runaways or unplaceable cases, and then personally rerouted them into systems where they disappeared from all official tracking. A fictional police captain in Los Angeles, Derek Milhouse, had been receiving $18,000 per month in cryptocurrency payments to ignore missing persons reports filed in certain zip codes and to delay investigations into suspected trafficking locations. A Border Patrol supervisor near the San Diego sector named Luis Ochoa had taken bribes totaling over $230,000 to ensure certain cargo shipments bypassed secondary inspections and that specific vehicles received expedited clearance during high traffic hours. And a federal immigration judge, Sandra Cross, had dismissed deportation cases and fast-tracked visa approvals for over 40 individuals directly connected to the Khalid network, all while attending luxury retreats on Seraphine Isle as a guest of honor. The system hadn't just failed. The system had been bought. Agents arrest Captain Milhouse while he's sitting in his patrol car outside a donut shop in Glendale. He doesn't resist. He just stares straight ahead and whispers, "You have no idea how many of us there are." They arrest Judge Cross in her chambers during a recess. She tries to claim ignorance, but her personal bank account tells a different story. Wire transfers from shell companies, luxury vacations paid for by Khalid entities, even a Range Rover registered under a fake LLC. They arrest Victor Ng at his home in Sacramento, while his children are eating breakfast. His wife screams. His daughter cries. But the evidence is overwhelming. He sold children. He erased their existence. And he did it for money. One FBI agent, a veteran with 20 years in the field named Agent Rebecca Holt, sits in a conference room staring at a spreadsheet of names, officers, officials, administrators, all compromised. She tells a reporter later, off the record, "I joined this job to protect people. I didn't think I'd spend half my career hunting the ones who were supposed to be protecting them with me." And that's the cost of corruption, not just the crime, but the destruction of trust, the fracturing of the system, the realization that the badge doesn't always mean honor. But for every traitor, there were 100 good agents who worked in silence, who sacrificed time with their families, who carried the weight of what they saw so that the rest of us didn't have to. And they're the ones who made this operation succeed. By day 3 of the investigation, the scope becomes even more horrifying. Federal analysts trace the network's logistics back across borders. They discover that Rashid Khalid had used his connections in Mogadishu and Nairobi to establish recruitment pipelines in refugee camps and impoverished communities. Victims were promised jobs, education, and safety in America. Instead, they were smuggled onto cargo ships, hidden in container vessels alongside legitimate freight, and transported across the Pacific or up through Central America and Mexico. Some were offloaded at the port of Los Angeles, others came through San Diego or Oakland. Once in California, they were moved to safe houses, luxury estates, suburban rentals, even gated communities where no one suspected a thing. The network moved an estimated 60 to 80 victims per month for 8 years. That's over 5,000 lives stolen, sold, and destroyed. Some were forced into labor, others into exploitation. Some were never seen again. And the network didn't just operate in California. Investigators find evidence of distribution routes extending into Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, and Washington. Victims were transported in RVs disguised as family road trips, in catering trucks during event season, in private jets registered to shell companies. One leaked internal memo recovered from Khalid's personal files outlines a 5-year expansion plan. The goal: turn California into the permanent headquarters of an international trafficking empire that could operate openly under the cover of wealth, charity, and political influence. A shadow system. Untouchable, unstoppable, until it wasn't. On the 7th day after the raid, the U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California holds a press conference in downtown Los Angeles. The room is packed with reporters, cameras, and federal agents standing along the back wall. Behind the podium is a display board showing faces, victims recovered, suspects arrested, and the two faces at the center, Rashid and Amina Khalid. The U.S. Attorney, a sharp woman named Victoria Brennan, steps to the microphone. Today, I am announcing federal charges against 183 individuals connected to what we are calling the largest and most sophisticated human trafficking network ever dismantled on U.S. soil. Charges include child trafficking, conspiracy to commit human trafficking, narcotics distribution, money laundering, racketeering, and corruption of public officials. She pauses. 450 children have been recovered. They are safe. They are receiving care. And they will be given every resource we have to help them rebuild their lives. The room erupts in flashes and questions. But she continues, "Let me be clear. This network succeeded not because it was invisible, but because it was protected. Protected by people in positions of power who chose money over morality, who chose silence over justice, and who believed they were untouchable." She looks directly into the camera. They were wrong. The applause from the agents in the back is quiet, but it's there. Because this moment, this victory, was built on years of work. Years of surveillance, dead ends, frustration, and refusal to give up. And for the victims, it's not the end. It's the beginning of healing. But let's be honest, this story is bigger than one operation. It's a warning. Because power doesn't always announce itself with violence. Sometimes it hides behind charity galas and philanthropic awards. Sometimes it wears a suit and shakes hands with senators. Sometimes it owns an island, throws elegant parties, and smiles for the cameras while children disappear in the shadows. And the only thing that stops it is people who refuse to look away. People who ask the hard questions. People who demand accountability. People like you. If you're still watching this, tap the like button so more people see this story. Comment expose if you believe corruption like this should be dragged into the light, no matter how powerful the people involved. Share this video if you think the truth matters more than comfort. Because stories like this, even when fictionalized for dramatic impact, are based on real patterns of crime, real systems of corruption, and real victims who need the world to care. The Khalid Network is fictional, but human trafficking is not. Child exploitation is not. Corruption is not. And the fight to stop it is happening right now, in real FBI offices, real task forces, and real courtrooms across this country. So stay vigilant, stay informed, and never assume that wealth status or a perfect public image means someone is clean. Because the monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like donors, entrepreneurs, humanitarians. Until the doors get kicked in at 4:32 in the morning. And the truth comes flooding out. Stay awake, stay aware, and never stop demanding justice. Because 450 children are alive today because someone refused to stay silent. Let that be the standard. Always.